Friday. It's another Friday roast where I, Edward Simberg, are going to give feedback, live feedback, completely raw on how a couple of these websites that I've selected can be improved. So, just to give like a little bit of an elevator pitch of what this actually is, I have worked for more than 15 years analyzing websites. I'm trying to figure out how can they market themselves better, how can they improve their messaging, how can they have better functionality, how can they have a better offer. All in all, how can you get your website to generate more business, more engagement, and more opportunities without needing to lift a finger, which is the goal. And I have a lot of beefs with my own industry. I feel like a lot of people have just thrown together a website without really knowing, how to build a good one. So what happens is they end up with like, imagine you're making pancakes for the first time, and yeah, you can follow like I know sort of like how many eggs I want to have, and so on and so forth, but you don't know the details, the ins and outs to make it taste delicious. That's what I'm going to try to do, but in a website context. So very often when I do this, I am brutally honest. I am not trying to offend anyone. I'm just really trying to get to the truth, like what really will work and what don't work. So here at WebTech, we have built more than 1,000 websites. So I would say we have a very good understanding what actually works and what doesn't. We A/B test. We see what are the best practices that work today for this industry, and so on and so forth. So today we're going to go in and look at a couple of different websites within the travel space. So I'm going to show you here a couple of websites that I have planned and prepared for. So these are websites that I find online. These websites might not necessarily know that I'm even doing this, but I mean it's public, so uh, it's up for grabs for for anyone to do what I do. I'm going to start sharing my screen here, and we're going to start looking at the first website. This whole feedback session needs a little bit of context. So a really good question is, if you want to have a website that generates leads and engagement, like how do we measure that? What is good and what is bad? So I'll start here with sharing my screen. The very first thing that we're going to jump into is my lovely checklist. So when it comes to website messaging, there are 6 things that I always want to make sure that a website answers. This is the absolute basic fundamentals. If we are not answering any of these 6 questions, you're probably going to have a quite drastic drop off in the potential engagement you can get from your website. Um, as I mentioned, I'm brutally honest. If you don't agree with what I say, please leave a comment, because I always want to get better at what I do, and I always find debating and mental sparring is when you can get some really cool insights. But so, what is the first thing someone is going to judge your website on based on when they land there for the first time? So the very first thing is the aesthetics. If you land on a website that does not look modern, it does not look relevant, and it does not look professional, good luck, because right away people are going to be skeptic and they're going to fall off like flies. So that is the very first thing that we're trying to do. In the first 10 to 15 seconds, they make a decision, which is, do they want to stay and learn more about you? There's some studies that showcase that the average American go through more than 150 websites per day. So imagine that with all that information coming at you, you're not going to stay there and climb the tree just to see what it could lead to. You really want to know, like, is this something that's relevant for me? So in the initial messaging, the first thing you see when you land on a website is called the hero section, right above the fold. And in there, you want to have a really beautiful image that is inspiring and again, professional and relevant to what you do. You want to have a bold message that clearly communicates your value proposition. What do you offer that is of value to your target audience? And then you also want to build trust and credibility right away. When you do that, then people are probably going to feel like, okay, I want to stay a little bit more. So then we go into number 3. What specifically do you offer? When I say that, I don't just mean what are your services, a description. I mean, what is the problem you're helping your client solve? What is the outcome they can get? and also like what is the vehicle that you offer that's going to help them to get from their current undecided situation to the future decided situation. Number 4 is then we need to build trust and credibility. This is super important. Everyone knows it, but very, very few websites do this in a good way. And again, during this webinar, I'm going to show you a couple of examples of how we do that. Number 5, unless you are a freaking unique butterfly unicorn, you will have competitors. So you want to highlight and educate the visitor of why should you choose you instead of the other options out there on the market. The very last thing that I suggested we do, and this is based on a lot of testing, we can see that when someone is really interested in an offer, you want to walk them through, you want to take them their hand and walk them through, here's how we're going to help you get there. Because people are far less inclined to engage if they don't know the engagement process. So if we are able to build a website that communicates this here, it looks good, it has good relevant offer and call to actions, then you are very likely going to be in the top 10%, and that's where you have the magic. That's when your website very likely is going to generate a lot of opportunities for you. If you're below there, then you're just going to have an average website, and you most likely are not going to get any form of traction from it. So if this makes sense, now we're going to jump into the very first website that we're going to look at. I have prepared 2 different ones. All of these are in one way, shape, or form in the travel industry. So the first website we're going to dig into is a website called triplevacations.com. Now, I'm going to keep confidential who's behind this and so on and so forth, but I know a little bit about the background. So this is a website that the owner built themselves. Let's now put ourselves in the shoes of a potential customer. So we have found this website. We're most likely here as a first-time visitor, and we want to figure out, is this a company that I want to engage and work with? So a couple of things that I noticed here right away. Look at this here. The first thing we see is, or that I pay attention to, is we have a photo in the background, a very, very beautiful photo. I really like the photo. But notice how the top menu here takes about like 1/3 of the entire screen. There is something that we'd always talk about in web design, which is efficient use of your screen real estate. Use that very effectively, and you're going to have far better user experience for the visitor. Right now, this takes 1/3 of the screen, as I said, and everyone knows that a menu is going to be up top anyways. So I don't understand why we need to have this big of a menu in this case. What I would do is I would just keep it this top part here. Use that as a menu. Everyone knows where to look if they want to navigate the menu anyways, so you don't need to make it stand out. Here we don't have the initial messaging, and look how the menu is fixed. So no matter where we go, this menu that isn't really adding that much value is taking up pretty much the 1/3 of the screen. Let's now dig into the messaging of the site. Explore the world with RRR Vacations. This is an initial message that I would claim to be very, very weak. This is not making me like, oh wow, this is different. I don't really know what they do. It doesn't really add any form of value whatsoever. And then we have a subheading here, which is a vacation is all about relaxing and distressing. As your travel partner, we are committed to securing the best rates and value that caters to your preferences and needs. Our expertise spans a variety of exciting options, from all-inclusive resorts in Caribbean, Mexico, to diverse cruise experiences, as well as serene retreats in the Appalachian Mountains. Allow us to partner with you to discover the getaway you've been longing for. You rest, relax, repeat, while we handle the arrangements. The subheading is a lot better. It gives us a little bit of a better understanding what they do. So I would remove this here altogether, and I would probably have a much better start would be, we are committed to securing the best rates and value to cater to your preferences and needs for your trip. That's a much better first-hand message. But overall, generally speaking, I suggest having 3 different things. A, what do you do? B, who do you serve? And C, why should they care? If you have those three things in this message, it's very, very likely that people are going to go, okay, this makes sense. This is what I'm looking for. I want to stay and learn more. Another thing that I then always tend to recommend that you add is you want to have something that right away builds trust and credibility. That you can do in many different ways, but you can do that, for example, with having a testimonial of an existing client. They now have a quote here from Dolly Parton, so which is a little bit different. It could be a review. It could be a logotype of a partner, of an award, of a certification, of a lot of different things. Another thing you can do here is to add a little bit of stats. I'm going to show you another website here. This is a website that has a very, very good, beautiful landing. And this is for a very different kind of website, but it's a yoga studio. So here you see a video in the background showing someone having a very impressive mobility for sure. And down here you see 15 years since creation, 800 certified teachers globally, 2,500 users, more than 3 million podcast downloads. So you see here a very simple way to showcase that we are not rookies. We know what we're doing. So something like that is what you can do to build trust and credibility right away when someone comes to the site. Back again to Triple R Vacations here. So I think because of this weak hero section that they have, I think a very, very big portion of their visitors, if they have 100 visitors, I'm going to guess that yeah, it's very, very hard to predict exactly, but a significant portion are going to be, okay, this looks kind of amateurish and homemade. I'm not sure if this is the professionals that I'm looking for, and they drop off the website very early on. When in fact, if they fix this, they're going to get a drastically higher percentage of people staying, learning more, which of course is going to lead to a lot more opportunities down the line. We now scroll a little bit further down here. Now we go in here to see fulfilling dreams, one vacation at a time. Happy Labor Day. So here, yeah, I'm not sure. Happy Labor Day is not what we're on right now. Labor Day sales. So here they have a sale. Okay, so here they basically have a little bit of offers. Then we have send us your fun vacation photos. You see here they don't even have the text sticking out from the background color. So here they have a bunch of different photos, but what I would say here is they're not really saying what they offer. They don't really walk them through the process of how they can help me. They don't really explain the problems they help me overcome. Why shouldn't I just go and plan my trip myself? They don't say anything about the potential outcomes. And all the way down here, they have these great information on associations, certifications, but they put it all the way in the bottom. And this is where the least amount of visitors are going to go to ever see it. So great information, but just hidden at the bottom. This here I would push a lot higher up throughout the page. So I'm going to jump back to this slide that I showed you. And please leave a comment here if there's anything that you what you think when you look at this website. But design-wise, for me, probably a 1 out of 5. Do I understand what they do? Well, yeah, and this is probably very, very much helpful because it's a very easy solution to understand, or service offering that they understand. But I think they can do that a lot better. I would give that a 2 out of 5. Do they clearly highlight what they specifically offer? Talk about the problems, the results I can get, or the outcomes, the time they're going to save me. None of that is well communicated. So again, maybe a 2 out of 5. Are they building our trust and credibility? I saw no testimonials. I only saw all the way in the bottom there, the logotypes. So this is a 1 out of 5. Do I know I should choose them? No, they didn't say anything about what makes them different, unique. And do I understand the process of helping me get there? No. So because of this, I would give this a 1 out of 5. This is a website that very, very unlikely is going to generate any form of leads whatsoever. So what I would do to fix this is much better, simple, clean, modern design. I would have a couple of effects so that I scroll the website, we get just a much better experience. I would have a little bit better call to actions. I would use video content for sure. Video content is something that 80% of visitors on websites that they prefer. They didn't build on trust and credibility. They didn't say what makes them different and unique. They need to have a section for that. So there's a lot of work this website has to do. And yeah, hopefully this feedback is very useful, because it should not be very hard to do, but it should make a drastic difference. When someone comes to their website, they're far more likely going to convert into an opportunity if these things are fixed. So please provide in the comments, what did you think? What did you agree with? What don't you agree with? It's going to be very useful for the owner to get that feedback when I send this to him. All right. Now we're going to move into a different kind of travel site. This is a website that is called safarisonline.co.uk. So it's a UK business. Here we go. Safaris in Africa reimagined, style refined. So where does your eye go straight away? So again, for me, eyes are always drawn to images and strong colors first. So we see here a photo in the background. Nice photo, but again, very, very small. If we look at the overall design, I'm not going to dig into the text yet and the messaging, but the overall look and feel of the design of this website is very, very basic, if you ask me. We should have much bigger photos. You can have these small, nice effects that when you land on the website, things move in from the side and so on and so forth. So in this case, we now go into the messaging. So Safaris in Africa reimagined, style redefined. Again, they don't really say what they do. They say sort of like Safaris reimagined, but what is this? Is this a travel agency? They don't really say what they do right away. And now here we go in to say authentic journeys designed just for you. We handcraft personal holidays to Africa's finest safaris and destinations. This is what I would have as the biggest text, the heading, not this here, because this here doesn't mean anything yet. And this might sound very, very harsh, but bear that in mind. People are very, very short in their attention span. And I'm not going to, this would only appeal for me if I know the brand in advance, I would say. Instead, what I'm looking for when I land is, what do you guys actually do? And if they add this here, it's far more likely that people are going to go, oh yeah, this is actually something that I'm planning to do. Let's see how they can help me. Down here now, again, notice this here. They don't build any trust and credibility. They don't. I don't know what makes them different, and unique yet. They don't have any call to actions anywhere here. I just see up top here, contact us, and imagine that for yourself. You are not sure if you want to do this. Is contact us something that's going to inspire you to take action? Then most likely no. Discover the best safaris in Africa. Okay, here again, look at this design-wise, very, very basic. I do think it's nice when I hover above something here that you get the Explore Now button. So that kind of encourages you to deep dive if you're interested. Safaris in Africa in luxury. Plan your Africa wildlife encounters. Start a conversation with our experts. Much better call to action than contact us, but still there's a lot more that we would do there with that offer. Okay. Yeah. So you see we've gone to the bottom of the website. I don't know what makes this different and unique. I don't know how this would work. This is a very, very basic site, if you ask me. So I've given a little bit of feedback. I'm going to show you just an example of how I suggest that we can make this a lot better. So instead of just being here sitting as a passive, roaster, I'm going to show you an example. So I've done a little bit of work on this site, and I'm going to show you here an idea of a concept that I have. I would take it from this here. What I would do is I would make a big, beautiful photo showcasing someone being on a safari. And I would have very minimalistic text. I would have a big call to action. And then I would have something that builds trust and credibility. And lastly, I would have video content. So I would take it, transform it from this here into something like this here. So look at the difference here. Very big, beautiful, inspiring photo showing someone being on a safari. Discover your perfect safari adventure We handcraft personalized holidays to Africa's finest beach and safari destinations. Get in touch. I would even here, if I'm going to be self-critical, we can probably even have here a better call to action too. Something like get a free trip and itinerary. That is like something like, yeah, why not? It's free. Like, I'm going to do this anyways. Like, why wouldn't I? We have here some reviews from Google, for example. Oh, a lot of people like to work with these guys. That means that I'm probably in a good hands if I engage. Up top here, we have a menu. I haven't customized this too much yet. And then in the bottom right corner, this is where I would add an interactive video. Interactive video is one of the most promising, some promising features that I see as a promising trends in websites, where instead of just a boring 2-3 minute long video, you can have an interactive experience, almost make the website visit into a game. Now, if we click on this here, hello there. We're very happy to see that you found our website. So at ABC Company, we essentially help client A to achieve outcome B, C, and D. Yeah, so here is a very generic video that I've added, but you see a little bit of an introduction, and then you click here. I want to learn about your services. I want to know what makes you unique. I want to discuss my needs. Based on what I click on, I then get a new video. Absolutely. Here we can schedule a free call or book a time, and you see here how this video makes it so personal, so interactive, and it converts me to do what they want me to do. So this would be a very, very strong recommendation. A little bit further down here, here's where I would recommend that we add a couple of logo types. Maybe they have some travel partners, maybe they have some awards, some certifications, some press and media recognition, and making them rotate like this makes it just look a lot more attractive. So here is some of the tweaks that I would do to this website. There's a lot more things that I would recommend that we do. If we see now on the current website, they have nothing here about what makes them different and unique, for example. The way that I would do that instead is something like this here. So here you can showcase the different destinations. You see when I hover above here, they get a shadow. I can click in to learn more about the Tanzania holiday, for example. And then here, why should we choose you? Well, because we make it affordable. It's more you highlight how your trip is going to be so much better if I work with them instead of doing it myself. A very last thing that I commented on here as well is they don't really have that much of a like explanation of how do you actually do this? How do you set this up? So what I would do is I would create something like this here, where it's like working with us. And then you have a couple of different steps. Well, step 1, book a call with us. We can learn a little bit more about your trip and what you're trying to experience. Step 2, we provide you with a proposal. Step 3, we do all the bookings and you can sit back and relax, or something like that. So you see here, there's a very, very big difference. I would love to get your feedback here now, if you use the comment section. Imagine this website have 100 relevant visitors who are looking to travel to Africa for a safari. They're interested. So 50 of those 100 are going to see this website. And then 50 of them are going to see what I created here. How much more likely do you think it is that they're going to engage and interact and convert if they see this here compared to the previous one? So again, we can make a really simple math here, which makes the whole case a lot easier and attractive. But like, if they now sell a trip, I assume a trip to Africa is not going to be a couple of $100. I'm sure it's going to be somewhere around $2,000 to $5,000, especially if it's private tours and accommodation, everything included. And then they have probably in travel industry, it's not the biggest kind of ROI. They don't have the biggest profit margins. But out of those 100, if they get maybe 3, 4, 5 more bookings, it's probably paid for. They probably made a few grand of profits just there. So you see how these small little changes can make a very big difference. Now, I'm going to show you a last website. This is a website of a client of mine who is a really, really good at what she does. We work together to build a website for her, and we're constantly improving and making it better. What we built for her is this here. For the sake of the example, this is the end result. I also have an example here of what the website used to look like. There's a very cool tool called Internet Archive. So I'm going to go and try and use this now. I'm going to paste her website. So we're going to see what the website looked like before. I'm going to go back probably to 2022 here somewhere. You can go and paste this. It's basically web.archive.org. You can paste any website in here, and it's taking screenshots of different websites so you can see what they look like. It's really cool. I sometimes go back and look at like what Facebook looked like back in the days. Okay, so I'm going to go back even further in time here, because this is still the site that we built. All right, this seems to be a very, very, very slow. The Internet Archive is struggling with getting everything running. I'm going to go back here then and see if we have any screenshots here. But yeah, it's such a nostalgia, this tool, and it's just fun to play around with it, to go into those websites that you used to visit. So yeah, look at this. Here's what her website used to look like. Again, very, very basic, a lot of text. It's not very inspiring. It's not attention grabbing. Her call to action is sign up for a newsletter or schedule a free planning session. So that I would say is actually a quite good call to action. Contact us for a free, no obligation quote. Here's some destinations, but like, yeah, if you would planning a trip and you see this website, would that give you confidence? Most likely no. Again, the end result after working together looks like this instead. Such a complete makeover. Take a family vacation filled with magical moments. Right, that sounds amazing. Dreams for Travel Inc. is committed to making every vacation magical. Contact us or learn more about what we do. You have a menu up top here. There's always things that I would want to improve here. I think the call to action here can be made a little bit better too. Down here, a little bit of an introduction, and then more than 500 trips planned, more than 80 magical destinations, 11 years of experience, and more than 200 blog posts. So she's obviously very, very passionate about what she does. So when you see that, it's like, okay, this looks like real legit. Here you can explore the different destinations. You can go to Disney, and you see now when I hover above something, they get these different effects. So this is request a free planning session. Here's what it's like working with us. She explains that a little bit more. So see how just far more attractive this is. Down here, we have testimonials. Rana is very thorough when planning our vacations. Changes we make or saving money are never a problem for her. She's a very good travel advisor. So you see here how it just builds so much more trust and credibility. Here they have accreditations, so on and so forth. So hopefully this is very inspiring. If someone would be going on a trip, if we again go now on a summary, you have a couple of different options. You have this here. You have this here. Or you have this here. So you see how big of a difference. People are probably coming to your website too, and they want to figure out if this is for them or not. So when they see stuff like this, it's a vastly different experience, and you have far more likelihood that your website works, sells your solution while you sleep. That should always be the goal. Now, that was it for this session. Any formal questions, reach out to me on LinkedIn or my email. You can also comment on this wherever you see it, if it's on YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Comment with your website, and I can give you a little bit of feedback for how you can go from being average and mediocre if your website isn't really converting, and to converting that into something that is far more performing and generating more opportunities for you. So I love what I do, and if you have any website that you want me to give feedback on, reach out and I'll help you as much as I can. Thank you so much for everyone watching. I do this every single Friday, where anyone who submitted a website, I will go and give some feedback so you can learn how you completely transform your website into a home makeover as well. Thanks again. Have a really good Friday to everyone out there.